I told you I was introduce you. Can't you take direction? You, I had a whole, look at this. I had this really nice thing written out for him, but
I can read it for you.
oh,
if you
well,
want.
okay. I mean, you guys. I was just basically going to say everybody loves this guy. He needs no introduction. He has, of course, 2 Academy Awards for Django Unchained and Inglourious Basterds. And one of the many things I love about downsizing is that it gives you an opportunity to show off those comedic skills that we got to see on Saturday Night Live. One of the best episodes ever. The Jesus Unchained is logged in my mind. So please welcome Christoph Waltz again.
Thank you. I'm sorry I can't see you.
I know it's very bright up here, but these are all actors, fellow actors.
No kidding.
Yeah, and I usually like to start by asking how you got your SAG card, but I think yours was Inglourious Basterds, wasn't it? It was your first American movie.
It wasn't my first American movie, but it was my first movie as a SAG member.
Really? Like I said, it wasn't your first American movie, but it was your first movie as a SAG member.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. Yeah.
What was your first American movie?
I'm not quite sure, but I think my first American movie was Steiner, The Iron Cross, episode 2 or the sequel or whatever, in 1977.
Really?
And it was with Richard Burton, with Robert Mitchum, with who else? Kurt Jurgens. Everybody, all the usual suspects.
So why did you wait like another 20 years to come back?
I had to make a living.
I mean, were you trying to do films in America? I know, I think we all know the story of how Quentin Tarantino cast you.
Well, yeah. You know, as much as I do, trying only takes you so far. Mm-hmm. And the rest is someone else trying as well. And if that happens to coincide, maybe.
So, jumping forward to downsizing, how did you first become aware of this project, and what attracted you to Downsized?
Well, I actually wanted to work with Alexander Payne. I mean, now I can tell the truth now. I don't have to tell coy stories. I wanted to work with Alexander Payne for quite some time, and again, it's a kind of one-sided love affair, and he didn't have anything or whatever. You don't ask to. And then this came up, and he had someone else in mind. He actually wanted something completely different, someone good-looking and younger, and where the gold. Why are you laughing? Where the gold chain makes more sense, and all that. And I didn't want to let him get away with it, so I pestered him. And he came to my house, and we sat there, and I made coffee, and so he was dodging the subject, and I said, "No, what? Well, he has a friend who is a Serb or Serbian," and I said, "Well, you have one friend. I know about 20 of them, and they're all different." And they are all different from your friend. And well, so this and that, and the accent. And I said, yeah, well, the accent, if you get someone from the south, he'll speak differently from someone from the north. So what are you going to do then? Mm-hmm. And that kind of conversation. And I think I just flattened him sooner or later.
But I think it's kind of blowing people's minds to know that you had to convince a director to give you a part at this stage in your career.
Thank you. Well, it doesn't have anything to do with career, or if you want to bring career into it, it is my conviction that the career is a result and not something that you can engineer. It's not a cause for something, it's the result. And it's the result of what you do. Yes, you do what you do, but you need to get the opportunity. If you don't get the opportunity, you can be the best, so-called best actor in the world, or the so-called worst actor in the world. It wouldn't make any difference.
So he came to your house to talk to you. Did you just like sort of put your Oscars on the table where he could see
I
them?
wouldn't wash with him.
That's true. He's got two also. So,
Well, there you
but
go.
I mean, just for writing. Come on.
Maybe he had his with him. I'm not,
He brought them. He was not going to be intimidated. Did you know anything about this movie? Because when you see it as an Alexander Payne movie. But when you hear the premise, it doesn't seem like a typical.
Well, I'm not so sure. Just because there are visual effects effects indeed, but visual effects involved doesn't mean that it is not pain. People evolve, and he says he's the first to admit that he had to learn all of that. It's as time accelerates and the development, gets out of hand. It's very difficult to catch up with these things. So I'm not even trying, but he had to learn all that, and I think he learned very quickly.
Because he wrote the script, from what I understand, a long time ago.
Yeah.
10
They
years?
were. Yeah.
He
Something
wanted to
like
make
that.
it after Sideways, I heard.
Yeah.
I'm just lecturing you now. I don't know if you know this, but he made this movie called Sideways.
No. And right afterwards, he wanted to do this, and then.
We read the same magazines.
Not so sure.
I mean, did you know what the movie was about when you sat down, or you just knew there was a role you wanted to work with?
No. At least I'm trying to be a little more specific than that. Yeah. So yes, it doesn't make sense to try to convince a director of something that he cannot possibly want. That's silly. So I kind of informed myself of whether it could make sense or not, and I considered it could. Yeah.
How does that happen often, where you sort of campaign for a role to a certain extent, especially here in America?
No, not really. But I don't know. I don't keep track of.
And this may seem like a silly question, but once you knew that you were doing the movie, how do you sort of prepare to enter this world to play someone 5 inches tall?
Well, I started by speaking very softly. And you see that's where the relativity comes into play. 5 inches tall from here does not necessarily look like 5 inches tall from there. So 5 inches tall from there looks like everything is big if it's outside Leisureland. Since most of what I had to do was inside the small world, so I didn't really have to worry about the difference of size within one proportion. So it was not really the main concern.
Was there any, because I know you tend to prepare pretty extensively for your roles, was there anything specific you did for this part, or?
I got in touch with my Serbian friends, indeed.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I'm from very close by, we Austrians look down on the Serbs, but that's okay. And, it's them who started the First World War. They broke up our empire. Now Austria is just a fly shit on the globe, but then it was great. So I know quite a few people from what used to be Yugoslavia is now Serbia, and they do speak differently, not like this guy, but.
I feel like the gold chain really made him. Once you put on that gold chain, you probably really found the guy.
No Yugo without gold chain.
Something else I noticed about this movie that is sort of consistent with a lot of films you do is it has this amazing ensemble. I mean, everyone from Matt Damon to Udo Kier. You know, do you think that you sort of seek out ensemble work? Maybe
Not him. Maybe. That's an old story. We all know that. You can only be as good as your partner. And you don't even have to try to be better because you won't be, whatever it is, for better or worse. That, you know, if everybody who works on the same movie is fully aware of that, that makes an ensemble right there.
What is it like? You know, there's this actress who is so good in this movie, Hong Chow. I know she's fantastic.
Absolutely.
And this is only her second movie. After a small but very memorable role in Inherent Vice. Is it different, you know, like when you have an ensemble and you have someone as experienced as Udo Kier and Matt Damon, and then working with somebody like Hong, do you notice a difference? Is it refreshing, or?
Yeah, you do know the difference, but then again, that's what it's all about. And differences, it's just like in real life, you know, we're all different. And no, we get on with it, and we say, fine, I'm glad you're different. What can we do together?
Do you think your theater background has anything to do with why you're drawn to strong ensembles?
I don't know. I that's the one thing that really bugged me in the theater, this ensemble thing. Because no, it becomes peer pressure. It's not ensemble, you know, and especially in Europe where we play repertory theater and government-financed repertory theater. So you know, you sign up for the company for 2 years, whatever it is that your contract says, and then you're stuck. It's like kindergarten. Good analogy.
When was the last time you were on stage and did theater?
92.
Really? What was the show?
Inspector General, Gogol. Yeah. I don't miss it one bit.
Really?
No, I don't. I've done it so many years and so many different roles in so many different theaters. I think I've done my time.
I mean, do you have a favorite medium, or it must be the medium you're working in right now?
Film.
You prefer film?
Yeah.
Why is that?
That's why I object to digital.
You object to digital?
Yeah, kind of. It's fashionable right now.
Because I know you just directed your first film, correct? Did you shoot on film?
No, I wanted to, and then anyway, I'm not going to start that. It's you know, they say, especially Kodak says, surprise, it doesn't make any difference in the budget. It does. I mean, if you have a low budget, it really does make a considerable difference. If you have 250 million, what does make a difference? But
did you have 250 million for your movie?
Yeah.
Wow. It must be full of robots. I'm excited.
Yeah, the robots hitting each other.
I actually am curious. I believe it's called Georgetown.
I'm not sure whether it's called Georgetown. It is that's the working title. And today I had a conniption about a trailer that is supposed to be cut for the market. I said, I don't even know what it's called. You know, you want to put it on the market? Anyway, they're smarter than I am, apparently.
What made you choose this project to make your American feature directorial debut?
I was looking for a material, and a friend of mine found this as an article in the New York Times Magazine. And we kind of, you know, pondered and discussed, and then we found a fabulous writer to write a fabulous script. And there it is. I mean, if that's what's required, then that's what we got.
Can you tell us what it's about? I know it's a drama.
It's a drama. Yes, it's about in the end, in 2 words, social climbing.
Really? And you appear in it as well?
I'm a pretty good social climber.
I mean, what was it like directing yourself?
Difficult. And honestly, at times it feels the actor has no director and the director has no actor. I don't think I'm ever going to do it again.
Really?
I mean, the double thing.
Oh, okay. But you would be interested in directing again.
No. But the double thing, it's too much stress. It really is. If you take it seriously, or rather, if you take seriously what you do, then that implies a certain exclusivity, I think. And apart from the fact that it is a philosophical impossibility to be in two places at the same time. You can't be in front and behind watching the dailies and then, sort of very engaged in a very dramatic scene with a very dramatic partner, and there's a cut. And I say, cut myself on screen. It's one of the most ridiculous things you can witness.
That's funny. And if your leading actor is being a diva, what do? You can't lock yourself in the trailer.
Well, you can. Let's not talk about divas.
Speaking of Matt Damon, you guys, he's the nicest guy in the universe, so it's easy to make that joke. But what was it like sharing scenes with him? He's like one of our last remaining, I feel, old school movie stars.
Old school?
Well, I mean, he's a throwback to Montgomery Cliff. I feel like we don't have stars like that anymore. It's like him and Tom Hanks. Who I said we. If I claimed you, Europe would be very mad at me.
Matt is, if you watch this movie, this really shows the best of Matt. And not that is a rarity. And this is really what this man can do. A schnook, a mediocre schnook, who all of a sudden is your friend. You identify with him. He's interesting. You want to follow everything he does. You root for him. No, he's a very mediocre schnook, And I think I don't know whether he's the only one, but he's one of the few who can do that and be fascinating.
Was this as much fun to make as it is to watch? No. Because it was really miserable.
It wasn't miserable, but I hope it's more fun. Everybody knows that it's not only fun to work on a movie; it's work. And Noel Coward said, "There's no fun like work," and that's true. But it's only fun if it's really serious work. If it's like hanging out and sort of playing music and being cool, it's utterly boring.
At the same time, you get to be in scenes with giant vodka bottles.
Hitting each other, yeah.
I mean, that must be kind of fun to show up on set and see.
Well, I have to admit, regretfully, that they are CGI.
It is all CGI.
No, not all, but the vodka bottles.
Speaking about directing, you have worked with so many amazing directors. What is it you think makes a good director?
That's a bit like what makes a good teacher, because that's a very personal thing. And what is the best director for you might be the worst director for me, and vice versa. And we don't know before we start. And also, what might be the best director for you on that movie might have been the worst director for me on that. So it's I don't think one can go down a checklist and say if you make 5 checks, you're a good director.
Are there things you like in directors that you sort of seek out?
Yes, but there are more things that I dislike.
What's something you dislike or try to stay away from?
Interference, directing is one thing. It says, here, let's go that way. interference is, no, you have to do it this way, and you can't do it like that, and you have to think like that, and imagine. I said, no. I think what I think, I imagine what I imagine. You just tell me where you want it to go.
Actually, we have a question from the audience, and I apologize if I get anyone's name wrong, but this is easy. Ryan. Sorry, it's hard to see you guys. Ryan, way in the back there. Hi, Ryan. Says that in a previous interview, you mentioned how an actor who hits every beat usually comes up with a dull performance. Could you elaborate on why that is? Is it a matter of intellect versus instinct or something else at work? Donkey.
I said that. Say that again. Every beat. No, I mean I assume what is meant by whoever said it is if you don't allow yourself to make mistakes, you're not going to go anywhere. If you want to be correct and right, you should work for the Justice Department. Sorry, I take that back. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's not playing. It's not called playing for nothing. You should remain your playful. Retain your playfulness and try out and. That doesn't mean one shouldn't try to do the right thing and think about or plan things ahead or whatever it is, whatever it takes, But I think there's a tendency to over intellectualize and pretend that there is some science behind it. There isn't.
By the time you get to a set, do you usually, are you done with sort of experimenting and you know how you want to do a scene? Or do you play it several different ways?
Well, that takes us back to our director, because you can plan all you want. If the director has other plans, you might end up with a bad day. So yes, of course, it's unavoidable that you imagine things because that's what it's all about, imagination and trying to convert that in some form of reality, in some tangible action, in some readable behavior. But different people have different ideas, and in the end, it's a story that needs to be told via playing a character. And I think the actor, as a person, is last in that chain.
We have a question from, is it Skylar? Yes. Skylar. What's the best advice you could give a young director for how to best work with an actor?
Oh, well, you see. That depends very much on the actor. Is the director you or the actor you? The director. Well, I assume it's like in any other let's say social situation. You talk to your peers differently than you would talk to people who you assume have more experience or more knowledge. You talk to everyone like you think they should be talked to, and if it's the wrong way, you find out very quickly. You look like you're intelligent, and that's all it takes.
Question from Vicky. Oh, hey. This is a good one. Is there something you haven't done, a character type that you aspire to cover?
I don't really. I'm positive there is plenty, but I don't really. Strangely, I don't even know how to answer the question because I don't think about it. I don't think about what I've done, and I don't really think that much about what I haven't done. I like to think about what I'm doing.
That said, I really want to see you in a rom-com with like Emma Thompson. I'm pitching this. I want my 20% if this happens. But you do comedy. I mean, yeah.
That's exactly why.
And we have a question. I think it's Jeff. It says Joff, but I assume that was, or maybe I'm wrong. Jeff? Oh, okay, thanks. Was it Jeff? Yeah. Okay, sorry. Wants to know, what is it about Quentin Tarantino that brings out such great performances in his actors?
Great text. You can't play what's not written. The assumption that some directors, very often young ones, erroneously purport is that, okay, the actor will take care of it. No. If it's not written, it's not even the actor's job to take care of it.
Did you know when you read, I mean, you couldn't have known that the partnership that would develop with Quentin, but when you read the script for *Inglourious Basterds, I mean, did you know it was something special?
Yeah. Yes. Of course. That's the thing, you know. A film script is a very interesting beast. It jumps at you, or you know, it's dead anyway. All the various shades and graduations in between. The Quentin writes text that is and will be classic.
Are you guys talking about collaborating again soon, I hope?
No. No, it's not necessary.
Right.
Look, I mean, he is the creator of these things. I'm just an actor. I really, it is my 100% certain and firm conviction that it has to be right. There is no such thing as good actor, bad actor. It is right actor, wrong actor. The person who is known as the worst actor in the world can be the best if the part is written in a way that he makes him the best. And there is a part for everyone. And yes, some people might have more experience, might have more tools to navigate and circumvent difficulties. That doesn't make them better actors. If Quentin thinks I am right for a part, he will ask me, and if he doesn't ask me, there's nothing that I'm right for. Mm-hmm. It's not difficult.
Jeff had another part of this that I was debating whether or not to bring up. Yesterday was your birthday. Happy birthday!
Thank you. Thank you. And I found out yesterday, a year after I was born, exactly to the day, on 4th of October, they shot Sputnik up. And the word Sputnik triggers enthusiasm in me. I don't know what. Sputnik. It's beautiful. And so I went online and I listened to the signal that Sputnik emitted. It's fantastic.
Where do you find that?
YouTube.
Just Google?
Google Sputnik, YouTube Sputnik. There it goes. Beep, 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 beep. Fantastic.
I just want to keep making you say Sputnik. Or Schnook, I like that too.
And then there's a big difference between the two.
Well, again, I want to congratulate you on another fantastic movie. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks a lot.